What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. In today's episode, we are going to talk all about the Deoxys forms in Pokemon Go. We finally have the stats, we finally have the moveset, so we can do an in-depth analysis on it. So what I'm going to be doing today is talking about all of the different forms, covering all of the movesets, and then giving you what I believe is going to be the best form to actually have as an attacker in Pokemon Go, which you might actually be surprised. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the episode. As a general overview of the stats, let's go ahead and take a look at the normal form first. With a max AP of 2,749, having an attack stat of 345, a defense stat of 115, and a stamina stat of 100. Moving on to the attack form. Max AP of 2,254, an attack stat of 414, a defense stat of 46, and a stamina stat of 100. Moving on to the defense form. With a max AP of 1,978, actually the lowest of the four forms, an attack stat of 144, a defense stat of 330, and a stamina stat of 100. Up next and last is the speed form. With a max AP of 2,504, an attack stat of 230, a defense stat of 218, and a stamina stat of 100. So the speed form is actually pretty interesting because Pokemon Go doesn't have a speed stat. So I was a little bit curious as to how they would do it. Honestly, I think that they just tried to manipulate it as best they could with the stats and the moveset, which we will talk about now. So for the moveset, let's go ahead and take a look at the normal forms moveset. For the fast moves, we have Zen Headbutt and Charge Beam. For the charge moves, Psycho Boost, Thunderbolt, and Hyper Beam. And then at the end of the video, we will be talking about what's going to be the best moveset. Up next is the attack form. For the attack form, if you will check out the fast moves, we have Zen Headbutt, Poison Jab. And then for the charge moves, we have Psycho Boost, Zap Cannon, and Dark Pulse. Up next for the speed form, we have Zen Headbutt and Charge Beam. For the charge move, we have Psycho Boost, Zap Cannon, and Swift. And then finally for the defense form, we have Zen Headbutt and Counter for the fast moves. And then for the charge moves, we have Psycho Boost, Zap Cannon, and Rock Slide. So as far as simulations are concerned, I basically wanted to run up some of these Pokemon versus a fighting type Pokemon and versus a poison type Pokemon just to try to decipher what is going to be the best performer out of all four of these forms. I also want to give a disclaimer on the website because actually on PokeBattler right now, the normal form has the move Zap Cannon instead of Thunderbolt. The only reason why that's significant is Thunderbolt actually outperforms Zap Cannon, so that could change this a little bit, but I will disclaim it once we cover the results. So let's go ahead and head over to PokeBattler. If we run the numbers up versus a Hitmonchan, we will see the typical raid counters such as a Mewtwo, Alakazam, and Espeon. But where does Deoxys fall? Well, actually all of the forms fall pretty far behind, but not too far. As you will see in the first slot, it's just the Deoxys normal form with the Zap Cannon and then with the Psycho Boost. So Zap Cannon is actually going to outperform Psycho Boost even though there is not a stab bonus. But like I said, Zap Cannon is not as good as Thunderbolt, so that means that Deoxys could actually perform better than what it is in this current simulation. Up next, you will see the attack form is in its second, and then finally followed by speed. I didn't even run the defense because it's not going to show up on any of these. So let's go ahead and move on to versus a Hitmonlee. Versus a Hitmonlee, you will see a little bit of a shakeup. This is fairly interesting because the attack form actually moves into the number one position using the move Psycho Boost, followed by Deoxys normal form using that Zap Cannon and then Psycho Boost. And the time to win is not close enough to where that Thunderbolt normal form Deoxys would actually overcome the attack. But keep in mind, it is going to have so many more feints because of the Deoxys attack. But hey, if you're an expert dodger, maybe you can make it work. Now let's go ahead and look at some of these stats versus a Machamp. If we take a look versus a Machamp, you will see that the attack form once again does take the number one spot, instead this time using Zap Cannon versus Psycho Boost. Then followed by the normal form using Zap Cannon, and then finally the speed form in at the last position besides the defense form. I actually wanted to run a simulation versus a poison type Pokemon, so I thought Victory Bell would be an appropriate choice. This is actually where we see the biggest shakeup out of all of the options. you will see that Deoxys is actually able to outperform an Alakazam and able to outperform an Espeon versus the poison type Pokemon. Of course, Mewtwo does still take the #1 spot, but Deoxys attack ends up fainting 24 times, and then using Zap Cannon faints 25 times. But as you will see with the other ones, they pretty much do the same thing with the normal form, actually doing better with Psycho Boost versus Zap Cannon, which is definitely going to be an interesting situation and something that I will take into consideration. So I want to go ahead and give my final thoughts and just kind of follow my intuition on this one. It's clear that the worst form, at least from an attacking standpoint, is going to be the defense. And unfortunately, the speed form does fall short, mostly because it doesn't have that great of an attack stat. But when you get into the normal form and get into just the attack form of Deoxys, that is a much interesting conversation to have. Having the attack form have a 400 plus attack stat is insane. At the same time, with the normal form, having an attack stat that's higher than Mewtwo is also insane. They're actually going to be two incredible Pokemon, at least from an attacking standpoint. But of course, they are going to be definitely a glass cannon. I would mostly compare it to something like a glass cannon of an Alakazam or a Gengar, just basically a souped up version of it. And I want to say, finally, with the inclusion of Thunderbolt as the charge move being better than Zap Cannon, if I had to pick which one I would prefer to actually have as an attacker, I'm actually going to go with the normal form, which is good news for everyone because that is going to be the form that gets introduced first into the game. Of course, the attack form is going to be a solid option, but it's such a glass cannon, you are going to have to dodge like crazy with it. But hey, it's going to be a lot of fun either way. But for me personally, I'm thinking normal takes the #1 spot, attack takes a close second, and then the speed form is in third, and then defense form definitely in fourth. But hey, that's just my opinion, but I want to also know what you think. What is the form that you look forward to using the most in Pokemon Go? Do you agree with me, or do you think the attack form actually deserves that #1 spot? Definitely let me know in the comments section below, and if you did enjoy this content, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.
Hit me like a tidal wave.